They can beat you 13-1. They can beat you 2-1. They can beat you 15-0, 14-10. Whatever you throw at these Seattle Mariners are going to find a way to get the W. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. A little different than yesterday, but the Mariners defeat the Texas Rangers 2-1. They win their 8th straight series. They remain in first place in the American League West, and they improve to 20-12 on the young season. Before I go any deeper into the recap, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you can. Thank you. Over 300 likes on yesterday's video. Thank you all so much. Hit subscribe if you are new or lurking. Thank you to all the new subs, 25 plus new subs from yesterday. Thank you and welcome in new and old subs. Appreciate you all. And don't forget to comment your thought on the team and the game down below. Was working outside all day today, so I'm sorry if I'm a little red, but it is what it is. And nothing cures any sunburn or anything like a Mariners W. 2-1, they get it done today. And it really is the case of this team. They are capable of putting up a ton of runs like they did yesterday and beating you that way. But they're also capable of winning the way we've kind of seen this team win in the past, which is great pitching, bullpen gets it done, and the offense does just enough. I'm a little more familiar with these type of wins. This is very much, 22, 23, 24 Mariners type wins. A great start from their starter. Munoz closed out in the 9th, and the offense put some pressure on and score some runs. Was this their best offensive performance? No, not even close to it. Not even, might have been one of their lesser offensive performances. You'd expect them to get some runs off Patrick Corbin, who has not been a very good starter past few years. Looks like he's pitching better today, and I thought he threw the ball all right. But these games do happen. We can say that when the offense is locked in. It was true last year too, right? Games like this happen. Even last year, all the frustration. Sometimes pitcher just gets you. But it was just getting tired. Myself, everyone's tired of saying it because it was just becoming a nightly routine, especially in the first half of the season, even a little bit into the second half. It was just happening every night, so frustrating. Right now, with the way this offense is going, I'm okay. It happened. Corbin hit the corners a little bit. Yeah, the Mariners missed some pitches they could have hit, but not going to score 13 runs every night. On the flip side, Luis Castillo was locked in, just as Brian Wu was last night. Took advantage of a lineup that's struggling, and your offense did find a way in the end to scratch that second run across. Then you turn it over to probably the best closer in baseball, who locks it down in the 9th inning. So they're not always going to be pretty. But it's nice to know in a game when the offense, which is, I don't want to say been carrying the team, because I think the pitching's been fine, but let's just say it for the sake of the video, carrying the team was not at its best. They still find a way to get the win. And it really, with the injuries and everything right now, it feels like every win they're getting is just, I don't want to say gravy, because it's not. We're 32 games into it. But, I said after the Angels sweep, hey, if they can stay 6 games over 500 for a month, cool. Said the same thing yesterday. If they can stay 7 over 500 for a month, cool. And now it holds true at 8 games over 500. They play 500 ball for the next month. Cool. They're going to be in really, really good position here. So, and again, that's not my goal for the team. I would hope they continue. I hope they go 20-12 for the next 32 games. That would be fantastic. But they're putting themselves in a really good position, and they're getting W's here, and divisional W's too. Every win here is pushing Texas a little bit further back from you, or pushing, not that I think the Angels were going to be much of a threat, but pushing them further back, or Houston, or the Athletics, whoever it may be. Matt Brash returns to the mound, makes a squirrel, pitches a squirrel 7th inning. So good to see Matt Brash back. A little surprised. We'll talk about the pitch we get in the box. We're a little surprised Dan threw him right into the fire in a tie game in the 7th inning. Even on the broadcast, they seem to mention that Brash would get a softer landing. But, and honestly, even, had Brash pitched last year but missed the start of this year, fine. I would have been like, yeah, throw him in there. He's fine. This guy hasn't pitched since September of 23. So Dan showing a lot of faith that he believes in Matt Brash by getting him out there in the 7th in his first game back. And he was great. And it's a position, that kind of bridge guy to Munoz, Spire, whoever it is, has been kind of lackluster. I think Legamina's done a nice job. I think Carlos Vargas has done a nice job. But it's nice to have Matt Brash back. And then everyone else can kind of take a step back, right? Now you can use Carlos Vargas in the 5th or 6th. or Colin Snyder earlier and Legumina earlier. So it just makes the bullpen so much deeper. Now, let's still give Matt Brash some time. He's probably not going to be available tomorrow. He may have some shaky outings. Again, this guy's not pitched in over a year. So give him some time, let him get his feet back underneath him, but really good to see him back on the mound. And it sounds like George Kirby making a rehab assignment tomorrow. Mariner Sir and I were talking about that. He mentioned that. So, it's finally getting some good news. We've had a lot of bad news on the injury fronts with I don't need to go through the names, but we know them all. Now you get Matt Brash back and George Kirby a step closer to getting back in there. So not only is the team rolling, but you're getting some reinforcements back here, which is just absolutely huge. And again, just fun. This is so much fun right now to watch this team play ball. And a nice win today, obviously, because you won a baseball game and you've won the series now. I think tomorrow's going to be a tough one. I think DeGrom, Logan Evans wouldn't be shocked if they lose tomorrow, but that's okay. Not saying like it doesn't matter. If you can win the game, please go get the W. Might be a good day to give Cal the entire day off. I don't think it would be a bad idea to do that tomorrow. Let him have a full day off. You've got a series win. Hey, maybe some of those guys find a way, pull it out and get you the W. But if you don't, you won a series, right? I'm not saying to throw a game. It's never where I come from on this. But when you do win these series, you put yourselves in position, you put the team in a position where they can now kind of do these things and not, give guys days off and stuff like that. So I think tomorrow will be a good day off for Cal. And who knows, with the way this team is rolling, they'll probably find a way to still get it done tomorrow. It's just, they're in one of those stretches. Even today, as frustrating as it was watching them versus Corbin, every inning I was like, they'll get a run here. They'll get a run there. They'll get a run here. How about that ninth inning? Jorge Polanco. Oh my gosh. Again, just stings the ball. I know Garcia could have caught it, but that thing was hit at 111. I'm glad they gave him a double on that hit in the ninth inning because it should have been. Because when a ball stung like that and it's not for an out, I mean, you got to give the guy a hit. How about Ben Williamson's at bat in that ninth inning? I thought that was great. Manufacturing a run, moving a guy over. Rowdy Tellez comes through. He's starting to get a little bit of that clutch gene going on. He's a guy that when he's up in big spots kind of seems to get it done. JP Crawford stays locked in. How about Andres Munoz in the ninth? Did not think he had his best stuff today, but got through the ninth inning, 3-0 to Peterson, gets it 3-1, gets him to ground out, loses Simeon, but gets Heim on a weak grounder, then strikes out Adolis Garcia. And again, I don't think Munoz had anywhere near his best stuff tonight, but still works through a scoreless ninth inning. So let's go ahead and dive into the box score. Luis Castillo, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. What I love that Luis Castillo has done in the 2 starts since Logan Gilbert has gone out, 12 innings, 1 earned run. That is veteran savvy pitching by Luis Castillo. I thought he looked pretty good today. You'd like to see a few more strikeouts, obviously, and I don't love walking the number 9 hitter there on Texas 2 times, with turning that lineup card over with Corey Seager back in the lineup today. But man, has Luis Castillo stepped up. They lose Logan Gilbert. You haven't had George Kirby. Bryce Miller hasn't looked great. Woo's been dialed in. Who else is going to step up? Who else is going to step up for this team? And Luis Castillo has done it. That's what a veteran leader does. And I don't want to paint it like, Castillo's just a crafty veteran at the top of a rotation or whatever you want to put him. He's pitching legitimately extremely well too. So it's not just, crafty veteran going out there and giving you a chance to win the game. He's doing more than that. He's holding a team. He's, like I said, 1 run the last 12 innings, shut out the Marlins and 1 earned run today. So he's been fantastic. But on top of him pitching well, it's just so good to see that after the Logan Gilbert injury. And, sometimes it's next man up, right? Someone's got to step up. And Luis Castillo has done it. Who's going to be the guy that goes, okay, we're going to be okay without Logan. We will be all right for a little bit. We all want Logan back. Who's going to be the one that steps up? Luis Castillo is doing that. Great performance today. And I know Texas isn't swinging the bats well, but they got Corey Seager back today. That's a big boost to their lineup. And sometimes it's tough playing teams that are scuffling because they are going to get one eventually, right? Like, do I think Texas's lineup is great? No, they've had some issues. They've had to send Jake Berger down. Adolis Garcia is really struggling. They don't have Nathaniel Lowe anymore. Marcus Simeon is really struggling. I will be honest. I wonder about Semien because he wasn't great last year too, if I'm not mistaken. But they have guy, and Simeon's still a guy that can produce. Jonah Heim. So eventually they're going to do better than what they've scored like 3 runs in their 4-game losing streak. There's just going to be a game where they break out. So still, I think impressive for Castillo to shut him down. Or you could look at it like this. Well, the Rangers offense is bad. Okay. Because Castillo held them to 1 run over 6 innings. That's what you should do against a bad lineup. So either way you cut it, a nice performance from Luis Castillo. We talked about Matt Brash, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no earned, no walks, and a strikeout. Good to see a strikeout from Matt Brash. The hit he gave up to Jonah Heim was bounced off the plate. It had an exit velo of like 79 or something, and it had an expected batting average of .60. So, excuse me, .060. So it was a little blooper that got through. It happens. Brash was sitting like 95, but Angie mentioned on the broadcast that it was a 2-seamer. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just thought Brash was slider 4-seamer, 2-seamer, then it makes sense at 95. And it did kind of look like it because it ran in a little bit, I thought, on the hitters. Again, I'm not a pitch expert and stuff like that. I mean, I know the difference between a fastball and a slider, but, I don't know, how much movement it should necessarily have there, but it did look like it was cutting back a little bit like a 2-seamer. So, hey, if that's, what Brash is throwing, he wants to throw 96 with movement cutting in, more power to him. Just good to see Matt Brash back up on the mound, right? One, for him personally, to see him on the mound is fantastic. It cannot be easy making those journeys back for major leaguers. I know Tommy John has a really good recovery rate. Most guys come back and are just as good as they were before. But it's mental too, right, for a pitcher. But I'm not saying this about Matt Brash. I'm just saying in general. You've got to think you've gone through a surgery that kept you out for a year plus. What if the next pitch does that again? What if it's got to be in your head a little bit as a pitcher. So just to get back up on the mound is incredible and great to see Matt Brash, but also to see a shutout inning. And like I said, kudos to Dan for throwing him in there right away. I actually don't know if I would have done it, to be honest. If I was the skipper, which I'm not, thank goodness, I might have eased him in with like a 7-8-0 game or something, or waited till you're down a little bit and see what he can do. But, Dan showing that confidence in him, which is good to see, because it means that, now with a shut inning that Brash is going to be back in there. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to help everybody else in that bullpen. It is going to help every single other guy because it's going to make their role just a little bit less. Now you're not holding out Vargas for the 8th. You got a situation the 6th, you can go to Vargas. Or now, how Scott Service used to use Brash, which I like, kind of the pivot guy. I think that was the term they used. So 2 on, 1 out in the 6th, you can go to Matt Brash, and now you still have Vargas or Spire or Snyder or, Munoz later in the game as well. So Brash really, really helps out. So just good to see him back in general. Gabe Spire with a solid 8th inning, did walk. Who did Spire walk? I think Wyatt Langford. I thought, actually, I will say maybe not Spire's best. I mean, he got the job done, right? Pilar's hit, I thought off the bat was going to be gone. I'm not going to lie. But it didn't even reach the warning track. Randy made the catch. Gets Smith, I think, to ground out, just a routine 1 to second. Walks Langford. Seager hit it pretty hard. Nice catch there by Julio. It's not going to show up on a top 10, highlight catches, but I thought it was a really nice running catch by Julio on that play. And that would have saved a run because that gets by. That's into the gap, and the Rangers probably win this game. So some hard contact, but Spire gets it done. And like I said with Munoz, he throws a shutout inning with no hits, no runs, 1 walk, and a strikeout. Didn't think he had his best stuff, but that just shows you how good Andres Munoz is, because if that's him not having his best stuff, yeah, it's going to be a long season for the opposing hitters. So, and bullpen feels a little more complete, and a great start by Castillo tonight. Let's move into the offense. Mariners do collect 10 hits, 2 walks, only strike out 3 times. So strikeouts continuing to go down. In fact, the Mariners are, in terms of strikeout rate, is if you look at it as number 1 in strikeout rate is the team that strikes out the least. So the best at not striking out. The Mariners are 17th, which is still below average, out of the 30 teams. But man, we would have taken that last year. How many times, and I know I say this a lot in the videos, but how many times would we have taken that from this team? So it's going to go down, again today as well. So they're not striking out as much. And as much as they did struggle against Corbin, today was just kind of another example of just not getting the big hit. What were they with runners in scoring position today? 2 for 9, right? What were the they had 2 hits. Rowdy. Oh, the in the first inning, right? Garver had one with runners in scoring. But what was the other hit with runners in scoring position? Did Randy? Oh, I think Randy, right? Because Cal had the double, then Randy had the infield hit in the first inning. So again, one of their hits didn't even produce a run. So just, if that 2 for 9 becomes 4 for 9, they probably put up 4 or 5 runs today. I didn't think they were terrible offensively. Their best game? No, not even a good one, but probably a little bit better than people are going to think of it because they're going to look at Corbin and go, Corbin stinks. So how'd you not score more runs? And yes, that's frustrating. You'd like to score more off Corbin, but I don't think they were dreadful today. The first inning, JP has the first pitch home run. Cal hits the double. Randy gets the infield hit. Garver has a nice walk. Donovan Solano, we'll talk about him a little bit, grounds into the double play. They had countless other innings with guys in scoring position and chances to do some things. And I don't want to take away from Corbin. I actually thought he threw the ball pretty well, was hitting his spots, hit the corners. And when you face those crafty lefty veterans like Patrick Corbin, he's not going to care. He's not going to give in and go, oh, I'm going to throw my 88-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle. No, he'll keep nibbling you to death. And I think the Mariners went up there aggressive, which is good, right? Like a pitcher, they did that against Cal Quantrill too. They were very aggressive against him because he's not great. They don't have to wear him out. If Corbin stays in for 8 innings, then whatever. It's not, you're not facing Tarek Skubal where it's like, we'd love to get this guy out after 5 innings because he's really good. And to Patrick Corbin's credit, he pitched well. Sometimes pitchers pitch well. Just as sometimes the Mariners pitcher isn't going to pitch well. It happens. So nothing at all that I'm worried about. This offense has still been completely dialed in. I don't even think today was that bad of a performance. JP goes 1 for 5 with the solo home run. I thought he had a great at-bat in the 9th inning. In the top of the 9th, it's going to go unnoticed, but, Chris Martin's one of their better setup men. And now, and again, kudos to Mariner Sir on this. He mentioned, he's like, Martin's probably down for tomorrow. Like, that's a great point. JP battles there, forces an 11-pitch at-bat. And now one of the Rangers' better setup guys might be down for tomorrow's game. So not only do you get that run there, but you tack on some tough at-bats, which the Mariners have been doing all season. Nice game from JP. Rough day for Julio, 0 for 4. Thought he'd do some damage against Corbin, so a little disappointing there. Cal has a nice game, 2 for 3 with a double, single, and a walk. Cal on board 3 times. Randy, 2 for 4 with a couple singles. Mitch Garver, 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. Had a nice walk in the first inning to load the bases. Did ground into that double play in the 8th inning. Listen, it was hit on the ground. I will say it was hit at 105. It was like the 5th hardest hit of the game, or at the time it was. Now, again, if you're not elevating the ball, I don't want to say it's worthless to hit it hard, but it's not quite as valuable. But Garver again, right? On base 2 times. You want to see some slugging. I thought this was a game against Corbin where he could do some damage, with the long ball. But again, I'm not going to complain when a guy has 4 at-bats and he reaches base in 2 of them. So Garver continues to raise that on base percentage, even the OPS up to 705 now. Donovan Solano was 0 for 3. Positive, I will say, and again, when I say positives, it's not making excuses. I want to be clear. Solano's been terrible. If I woke up tomorrow and saw Donovan Solano was DFA'd and Tyler Locklear came up, I'd say, yeah, I absolutely get it. I'm not going to argue that at all. So it's not an excuse. I'm just, when guys are really scuffling, trying to look for some silver linings. The at-bat in the 5th or 6th was hit fairly hard to center field. I thought it might get over the center fielder's head. But that at-bat in the first inning was rough. Corbin just walked Garver, 1-0 count, grounds in double play. You did have Corbin on the ropes. As much as I said I didn't think the offense was as bad as the box score looks, and Corbin pitched well. And again, Corbin deserves credit for getting that double play. But you get that base hit there, even a sac fly or something, and go up 2-0. It may change the game a little bit. Then you got another at-bat behind there with Williamson. Maybe he, dinks one in there and it's 3-0. Now Corbin's at 30 pitches and struggling in the first. So, you get the 1 run, which is great, the JP home run, but you kind of let him off the hook a little bit for the rest of the inning. And that's on Solano there. So rough game for Solano. Like I said, silver lining did hit the ball hard later in the game. Jorge Polanco pinch hits for Solano and has the rigging double. Polanco just continues to stay hot. We'll see him back in the lab tomorrow with the righty on the mound. Ben Williamson 0 for 4. Like I said, I liked his at-bat in the 9th inning. Didn't try and do too much. Couldn't get the bunt down, stayed alive, and hit the grounder to second, which moved the runner over. How many times have we said it? Like, I'm not a big small ball guy, for the record, I'm not a big, we need to be bunting more and doing this. Like, it's not that, but like the Mariners offense has been fantastic. They're crushing homers, they're working walks, they're doing everything. And then on top of it, they're doing the little things right. So that's when it's key for me. It's not, the Mariners need to have more ground outs to advance runners. If you ain't hitting, you ain't hitting. You can move all the runners over you want. Someone's got to get a hit. But the Mariners are getting that hit. So it's okay that they're moving the runner over, if that makes sense. So nice job by Williamson. Just a very fundamentally sound player. So, rough game, but a good at bat there. Leo Rivas 2 for 3 with the double. Just continues to just play him until the hot streak runs out, right? I mean, I would just play Leo Rivas every day at second base until he cools off. I know none of these are hit that hard, but he's finding a way and he puts up good at bats. Ride the wave. Ride the Leo Rivas wave. Rowdy Tellez pinch hits for him, 1-for-1 with a solid base hit up the middle, the game-winning hit. Rowdy's got the OPS up to 700. I'm kind of getting close to saying just let Rowdy play every day at first base. To be perfectly honest, I think it's your best bet right now. Until you decide to do something with Solano or Locklear or whatever they decide to do, I'd probably just let Tellez take those at-bats and see what happens. Samad Taylor was over 2, did hit a ball pretty hard for a line out in the middle of the game. I don't remember which inning, but it was 100 exit velo. So, we'll talk about right field as we go along if it becomes a problem. Right now, again, just ride the wave as long as you're winning the games. Master Boney pinched hit and was 0 for 1. So, again, 10 hits for the Mariners. Like, not a lot of extra base hits. In fact, they had 3. No, they had 4. Okay, I mean, that's half of them essentially. So can't even go with that one. But because Rivas had that double along with Polanco and Cal had the double as well. And then JP hit the home run. So again, I'm not going to praise the offense today, but I don't think it was quite as bad as it looked. And guess what? When you show that you can be a good offense, sometimes you get let off the hook, right? A good employee that makes a mistake, you're more likely to go, hey, don't make it again. A bad employee who keeps making mistakes, it becomes a problem. The Mariners have been a good employee, so I'm not mad at them for having a bad offensive game. It might happen again tomorrow. They're not going to score 13 runs every night. Or look at it this way. The Mariners so far this series have outscored the Rangers 15-2. So they've scored 7.5 runs a game in this series. Like, the offense has been absolutely fine. I probably don't need to convince any of you, but, hey, 20-12, let's go. Let's keep enjoying this. Get the sweep tomorrow. I know I said tomorrow is kind of a whatever. It is in terms of, hey, you got the series win, but go get that sweep. Go get it. Go, man, bury the Rangers a little bit here. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.